Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I make videos for anyone who's looking to improve their chess and their club rating level, and I mainly like to focus on middle game strategy stuff, the stuff what's like I find that club players like myself find really hard to learn. And I also do opening theory videos, so if that sounds interesting, consider subscribing. But in today it will be another opening theory video, and I will be going over the Karpov Caro-Kann variation. And this is the last video on the theory on this variation. And if you want to check out the other ones, I'll leave a link in the description. But let's get on with the theory. So white continues with e4, c6, d4, d5, and white can here go knight d2 or knight c3, doesn't matter. And because we just exchange anyway, and after takes, we enter the Karpov variation with knight d7. I just want to say, because this is the last video I will be doing on the theory of the Nd7 line, because this is the last, I will be making a new series on a different line in the Caro-Kann. So it could be the advanced, it could be the classical with bishop f5, or it could go with show the knight f6 with the g takes or e takes. So let me know what you want to see in the comments. The people who respond the fastest, like the most likely chance, I will actually go over that. So let me know. I'll go over as for white and black. So let me know, and I'll make it happen. But black here continues with 97, the main line, and sorry, the Karpov variation, the main line. So this is the Karpov variation with 97, and on this channel I've covered bishop c4, I've covered knight g2 f3. And here the main line and the most serious, and I suppose white's biggest try for a win, the most clinical variation is knight g5. And here with knight g5, I've said this before, knight g5 and bishop c4 lines can transpose, by the way. But normally after knight g5, white does not have to go bishop c4. So we here continue with knight g to f6, just how we normally do in pretty much all the other lines. But I do want to say, known moves in this position have been knight d to f6. Mikhail Tal played this and he lost, so do not play knight d to f6. I just don't understand it at all. The whole idea is to get this knight out. But a great surprise weapon that you could use if you know your opponent plays this and plays all the main lines is to play e6. After e6, bishop d3. That we'll be going over the bishop d3 lines. Bishop e7, knight 1 to f3, and here we go h6. Knight e4 is the main line. Knight f6 takes, and we do not take with the knight. We take with the bishop, so we keep an eye on the e5 square. And here we fianchetted this bishop, and we break with c5. And I think as a club rated player, say anywhere from like 1,000 to 2,000, maybe, I feel like these positions are a lot easier to kind of play for black and understand. So I would definitely recommend playing this line with the black pieces, going e6 after knight g5. But the main line here continues with knight g to f6. And we will be going over the bishop d3 lines. Now after bishop d3, we simply continue with e6. And the main idea is after bishop d3, now white can bring his knight, or her, white can bring their knight into the game. Normally this knight on g1 does not come into the game, while this knight was on g5 and the bishop's on c4. So I suppose that's the biggest benefit. So after e6, they continue with knight 1 to f3. And here we continue with bishop d6. And I just want to say, you can play bishop e7 here. But I just want to say, do not play h6 and blunder like Garry Kasparov did, because after takes, queen e7, the game against Deep Blue, castles, Garry Kasparov took, bishop g6, king d8, And basically, black in this position was completely tied down. Deep Blue just completely destroyed Garry Kasparov. And I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check out this game. So do not play h6. Very hard. It's pretty much torture playing this position as black. So remember, just as a rule of thumb, before you play h6 in these lines, always bring your bishop out, whether it's e6 or d6. Just don't play h6 before you haven't developed this. Main idea is that the king can go to f8 as well. So after bishop d6, the main line continues with queen e2. And here we continue with h6. Sacrifices no longer really work. So he continues with knight d4. And after knight e4, queen e4, this is a very kind of mainline position in the Karpov variation. Now, black here has two options. He can go knight d to f6, and after queen h4 is the main move. He continues with king e7. And there was a game, Anatoly Karpov with the black pieces versus Gatakamsky. But white would normally continue here with, say, knight e5, and he sacrifices a pawn because we can go queen a5 and win it. But he has good compensation. He castles quickly. And I won't be showing the theory to this line, but I will leave a link in the description to a Karpov game that you can definitely learn from. I'll show it very quickly. 95 is what Gatakamsky played. I'll show just a bit of the game. Karpov takes queen a5, c3, and here normally if you have the black pieces, you just develop. Play g5, but you have to be extremely careful because the rook might come to this square. Like, it's very dangerous. So after bishop e3, b7, queenside castles, it's very hard for black. It can be very hard for black to play if he does not know what he's doing. So probably don't go into this blindly. I advise you to go over it with an engine or look at some old games. And also, I do want to say the reason why this is the old main line is because it gives up this very valuable e5 square, and a lot of people may argue that this knight on e5 is a lot stronger than this knight ever is going to be on f6 or where it can ever hop. So the main line, the new main line, because black stopped playing this because they were losing a lot of games. The new lane line, and the one I'll be showing the theory to, is queen c7. And this move is very flexible. You can play c5 now, and you can support b6. And yeah, I think it's quite very playable for black. And you don't have to be so kind of worried about blundering on every move like in the other line. So the main line here continues with queen g4. And the idea behind queen g4 is white is saying that, okay, because we haven't developed our knight to f6, if you go knight f6 now, we just take this pawn and you can resign as black. So he's basically saying, and also if we castle, it's pretty much just bishop h6 loses on the spot for black. So here the main move is king f8, and white with queen g4 is saying, okay, you have to make a concession now because you went queen c7. But king f8, this is all mainline theory. Do not worry, this king is safe on f8. Mainline theory continues with castles. We continue with c5. White should not take because he lets us get our pieces into the game quickly. We'll get our king to safety. And so the main line continues with c3, and he also should not let us exchange because then we can play knight e5 after knight d4. So the main line after c5 after castles is c3, just reinforcing the center. It's the most logical move. Now black normally continues with b6 as the main line, and after rook e1, we continue with bishop b7, and this is a very this is where the theory pretty much ends. And I will be showing a game from this exact same position And I'll be showing you how the player with the black pieces navigated this position. And yeah, so you can get some ideas if you do play this, because if you do play the Karpov variation, there's an extremely high chance you will get this position if you play it enough. So yeah, tell me what you think of this variation, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. I'll be wrapping it up now. And make sure if you want to see another series on a different opening theory, let me know, because I'll try my hardest to make it happen. But anyway, if you like this video, consider liking it, and also I'll be making lots of way more educational content. So please consider subscribing. But yeah, hopefully you will like the video, and I'm very grateful and thankful if you watched this video. Much appreciated. So yeah, have a nice rest of your day.